What's something you'll never eat again, and why? Buffalo wing flavored Oreos. Why? Well, they can only be found in China, and they taste like chicken mixed with cream fat's been sitting around for 6 months. China has some weird ass flavors of cookies, chips, etc. Japan says hello. Salt flavored ice cream. Sorry to break it to you, but that was frozen semen. Those cups of chocolate pudding. When I was in elementary school, had one, ate halfway through it, and then there was a layer of mold hidden in it. Nope, can't do it anymore. That's half the reason those cups have transparent containers now, so you can see any spoilage. What's the other half? I asked the pudding companies why, but they're less transparent than the containers. You can't ask them. They're in the pocket of big pudding. Oatmeal. I used to work at Six Flags Great America. I worked the teacup ride by Raging Bull. This group of girls come in and are like, which cup spins the fastest? And I pointed out which one. Check the cups and run the ride. They came up to me afterwards saying that their friend didn't realize how fast they were going to be spinning. I went to take a look and holy shit. It was like someone made a fucking pot of oatmeal and dumped it all over this cup. I literally had oatmeal for breakfast that day, and that's the last time I've ever eaten it. You couldn't even pay me to touch oatmeal ever again. You just made me want to go on the teacups. Shirako. So took me out for a fancy meal when we lived in Japan. They served a lot of delicious small dishes, and the waitress did a good job describing each one. Except for Shirako. It was white, milky, and soft. So and I both ate it and didn't talk about it until we left the restaurant. Finally I had to speak up. That was a fish sperm sack, wasn't it? MHMM. Shirako literally translates to white children, so yeah. Guess it explains why they didn't describe it. Well, there's no good way of saying you're eating white kids for dinner. Grilled chicken from Wendy's. I got one that was 50% gristle one day. Worst bite of my life, and I was immediately sick. As soon as I handed it to them, they rushed it into the bag. Manager came out and just apologized and offered me another one. It's been 25 years. I can still taste the disgustingness. My wife and I were at a Chinese restaurant. I finished my meal, but she still had a bit left and offered it to me. I took a bite of her Mongolian beef, and it was cold and gristly. Oh god, how could you have eaten that? I didn't. That's the gristle I couldn't chew, so I spit it back out. Typing this just now was almost enough to make me throw up. Again. So let me get this straight, she offered you cold gristly beef knowing full and well what it is, having already tried to eat it? If I'm understanding it correctly, that's whack af. I politely and calmly asked her to please never fucking do that again. Her excuse was that she thought I knew what was happening. Narrator, he didn't, and assumed that I was blowing ahead anyway. Pork chops. My father wanted them literally every other day when I was a child. I swore when I moved out I would never touch another one. And I haven't 10 years later. Bonus points if mom cooked the living piss out of them until they were boot leather like mine did. After I moved out I didn't have a pork chop for probably 5 years. Had a properly cooked one at a restaurant and now I make them all the time. What is it with parents and overcooking the living shit out of meats? When I was growing up they recommended to cook pork like chicken due to trichinosis or something like that. Now they recommend cooking it like steak at a medium/medium rare. That's my best guess. Plus my parents were horrible cooks. I mean beef too. I grew up eating great dry steaks. My grandmother's scones. They were made from a recipe she came up with during WW2 to work with the rations they had, and they were pretty unique and delicious. I'll never eat them again, because after she passed, many years ago, no one has been able to replicate them. So they will forever remain a fond memory of my gran. Nestle Towel House. This is why you're burning in hell. Fondant icing. Like sugary Play-Doh. r/fondant that. I swear that subreddit has more images of here's my cake I made without fondant than here's a cake that's awful because it has fondant. When I was in the Philippines I was convinced to try this egg with a partially formed chick inside. Supposed to slurp that shit down like an oyster. Did it once by trying to channel by in a Bourdain. Midway through I was also ready to hang myself. Edit. So noted. It's called ballot. Also noted. It was a duck and not a chicken. I tried ballot once. I managed to get the whole thing down and felt like a nauseated pile of hot garbage all night. My friend took a big bite of his, hit the duck, and started puking off his deck. There's this huge Chinese grocery store not too far from me that has every oh god no why YouTube food channel staple. Ballot, durian, $40 a piece, fermented tofu, century eggs, that black crab extract stuff, etc. Even the Chinese don't ever seem to buy these things. I seriously am starting to think Asia just comes up with this stuff to make Americans think they have the most hardcore stomachs ever. I got really sick after eating a cinnamon roll when I was about 14. I'm 33 now and haven't had one since. Apparently your brain can actually rewire itself after just one regurgitation event, particularly if there's a really distinctive taste/smell that comes back up, like cinnamon. I got sick drunk on cinnamon schnapps one night, and it was years before I stopped finding the smell of cinnamon revolting. I still get sick smelling Captain Morgan spiced rum. Natto smells like rotten feet, has the look and texture of wallpaper paste. I hated natto. I was eager to try it because I generally like foods with strong pungent flavors that other people find offensive. But the texture was just the worst. Just slimy and stringy and ugh. No, never again. Just seeing a picture of natto was enough to make me sick. One time I saw a picture of a girl sitting in a bathtub full of it and it legit ruined my entire week. Sweetbreads. Very deceiving name. For people that don't know, sweetbreads are the organ meat from the thymus gland and pancreas. Once made a tuna wrap and added what I thought was tzatziki. It was actually vanilla flavored Greek yogurt. I literally felt a cognitive disconnect originating on my tongue. Laughed out loud at the last sentence lol. I hate Greek yogurt, that texture alone would make me puke. Liver has a really weird rubbery, grainy texture that I really didn't like, and the flavor was pretty gross as well. Not for me. I also have the gene that makes cilantro taste like soap, so get that shit off my food. Monkey brains. I tried it once. It tasted exactly like refried beans. I can say I did it, so I never need to try them again. Careful there, you don't want the mad monkey disease. Ebolavirus would be the concern I would have thought of. Cow brain, mad cow disease, monkey brain. See, you are right. Sour apple anything. When I had first started drinking, my friend gave me a bottle of booze, telling me it was a pre-made sour apple mixed drink. So I drank a whole glass of it. It just said sour apple on the label, so my dumbass didn't question it and didn't know enough about alcohol to taste the difference. Turns out it was straight vodka, and I drank probably 12 shots of it. I vomited so much that evening. To this day 10 years later, even just thinking about consuming anything sour apple flavored turns my stomach. Pucker. I'm getting gut rot just thinking about it. Goddamn, those cheap puckers and stuff like hot damn were always around during high school parties, and they still make my stomach twinge. Caviar. I've tried all the oh no, this isn't like other caviar. So you'll like this kinds, and it's all like dumping salt and fish oil down my throat. Same here. I describe caviar as eating fish assholes. That's what it tastes like. You're quite the connoisseur of assholes, if you know what a fish asshole tastes like. Better than your mom's. Tribe. I was happy when I knew it was some kind of meat from a cow, but once I learned what part of the cow, it made me sick to my stomach. I can't understand why either. I mean, I've eaten cow tongue, beef liver, and all kinds of other stuff. Why tripe upsets me is something I can't figure out. I grew up with menudo, and I don't even care that it's a stomach. But there's always like this weird smell and the texture is so off-putting. I was waiting to see menudo here somewhere. I like almost everything I have ever had, so I gave menudo a shot to spoonfuls in, and I have to my friend that loves it, and got something else. Subway one bad food poisoning experience a couple years ago, and I'll never go back. Even the smell of those restaurants still make me gag. I live right across from a Subway and gotta say the smell is pretty intense, but I really don't want it in my tummy. It's just gone way downhill since a decade or two ago. There was a very interesting podcast by The Indicator as to why Subway has had so many problems in recent years. The hypothesis? Subway's $5 foot-long campaign was too successful. People don't want to pay more for something they believe should only cost $5, so Subway has to make cuts in other areas to stay profitable. It's really interesting and definition worth a listen. Shrimp. I ate a pound of them once and realized I'm actually allergic to the type of shrimp I had. So now I can't eat any shrimp or shellfish because I'll get ill. I'll never eat apples again. Deadly allergy to apples. You're stuck with Microsoft, then. Laughs and Linux. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.